So Ranjolo re tlo bolela ka a couple of points that I made, stemming from questions that I have been asked about how do you gauge the authenticity, a crystal, right? There's many or various tests each and every crystal undergoes to determine the authenticity of that particular crystal. So I'll speak about the clear quartz. So one of the most common tests that one would do is a temperature test, right? A crystal, which is a stone, when it's genuine, it is cold, right? Its temperature, it's cold compared to a glass. Glass, temperature it's just neutral, right? High tony, high fishy, it's just in between, right? Whereas an actual cluster or stone, it is cold in terms of the temperature, right? And then the other thing to take notice of when dealing specifically with the clear quartz is that you will notice glass is perfect, right? It's perfect in the sense that glass doesn't have inclusions. If you look at this cluster that I'm holding, there are inclusions. Inclusions, it's like cuts or breakages inside of the crystal itself. So that's another way of seeing that the clear quartz that you are dealing with, it's definitely a clear quartz, right? And then the third thing to look out for, it's air bubbles, right? With a cluster, with a cluster or an actual clear quartz, there aren't any air bubbles inside. But you'll see that with a glass, it's difficult for them to get it right, right? So you'll notice that inside the glass, when you introspect, or rather when you survey it, right, or when you inspect it, you will notice that inside this cluster there are bubbles. But if you are able to zoom in, Tammy, and show the audience at home, when you look at this one, even with the naked eye or any telescope, you will notice that inside it there aren't any bubbles. It's just inclusions, right? It's just inclusions. And then the other thing to notice, if you are dealing with an actual stone or not, glass, when you drop it, it breaks, right? Depending on the pressure. Some glasses, they might withstand the impact, but others, most of the time, regardless of how high you're holding the bracelet or the cluster, it will break. So with an actual stone, if you drop it like how we did, it doesn't break, right? So those are my tips in terms of how to check if a clear quartz is definitely a clear quartz. This is without us now starting to use sophisticated machinery. These are simple tests that you at home you can conduct to vet the authenticity of the crystal, in this case the clear quartz that you have. We are going to drop more videos that are educational as far as other crystals are concerned to determine the authenticity of those crystals. Shato mo, Tobe.